Coach Tiffany Taylor, and I'm ready to share my story. Everyone's journey is different. For some, it is embedded with success, family, financial well-being, and purpose. But for many, especially the women at the centers of Chapman Partnership, it is paved with struggle, isolation, and seemingly insurmountable peaks. Back in 2017, I moved to Miami, and I was certain I'd be able to make it. I was lucky enough to get a minimum wage job at a restaurant. I thought I'd be able to live on that and save money. Unfortunately, my time ran out at the Airbnb I'd rented, so I actually met a gentleman who offered to let me live with him. He told me he'd help me find a job, he'd help me get back on my feet, and within a month I was without anywhere to turn. And it was at that time that I was able to call an Uber driver who actually drove me from the airport in Miami. He offered to let me sleep on the floor space next to his bed. And at that time, all I really had was my pink yoga mat. So I put my pink yoga mat on the floor. I slept there for a few nights. He shared that if I wanted to continue living there, he would rent out that space to me for $250 a month. And that's where I lived for the next few months. During that time, I was extremely vulnerable. I was very naive. I wasn't really aware of what the dangers were at that time. There were people who were looking to take advantage of me. Some were successful. I'd been robbed. I'd been taken advantage of physically as well. All situations where I was just looking for a way out and trusted that someone would be able to help me turned into a dangerous situation and a traumatic experience. At the time, if I'd known about Chapman Partnership and the resources they provided, I know I would have been able to find a suitable job faster. I know I would have had access to the healthcare resources that they provide. And I know I would have had access to the counseling services as well. I wouldn't have felt so alone, and I wouldn't have fallen victim to some of the people who try to take advantage of me at my lowest moments. Self-worth is always a really interesting concept because it's always dependent upon what you attach it to. I believe I have inherent worth. And so I never allowed my circumstances to change that. My past does not define me. I'm not bringing my past into my future. I knew that I was focused on the future and my worth is inherent. And when I was in this situation, it was pretty eye-opening that it doesn't have to be a stereotype. Anyone can fall victim to that sort of living situation. And it opened my eyes even more because if I wasn't telling anyone, that meant I wasn't counted in the statistics. This really stirred up a compassion in my heart to one day get out of that situation and give back in some form. It's where my passion for Chapman Partnership comes from. Today's face of homelessness is more familiar. It's people we know, people we love, and people who are counting on us to champion this issue and be their support system. Today we're asking you to take a walk in her shoes with our women and children and commit to walking by their side.